Dana's cooking. Dana Altman is absolutely cooking. If I tell you going into a game, only two players are going to score in double figures against a team that went in 9-2, and Oregon's going to go 6 of 22 from beyond the arc, how do you think that game goes? By the way, Oregon made 4 of their first 6 3-pointers. I believe maybe it was 3 of 6 in about the first 5 minutes of the game. So they just stopped hitting threes here against Stanford. They won the game 76-61. It wasn't even that close. This was 36-19 at the half. You know that slow start thing that this squad has had a problem with? That, ultimately almost cost them the Oregon State game, almost cost them Texas A&M, almost cost them Portland. Yeah, that's not the reason they have their only loss of the year to UCLA. The Bruins got a lucky banked-in 3 and a reverse goaltending call that never should have been. And that's the only reason Oregon has lost. They're ranked number 10 in the country right now with really good reason. This was, I think, the most impressive performance Oregon has had to date. Now, is Stanford great? I don't know. That's an ACC powerhouse there. They've got 9 wins on the season. They're 9-2 going into it. They were mostly beaten up on mid-majors. They beat Cal as well, but they didn't have a bunch of marquee wins, a couple okay losses. Like, Stanford's not necessarily a great team. However, how many times have we seen Oregon basketball struggle with not great teams, not just in past years, but in this very season? I've seen it happen multiple times. So I loved this performance all around for a couple of reasons. Number one, KJ Evans had as high an impact 18 minutes as you can come up with while only making 1 field goal. He was getting fouled a lot. He ended the game with 13 points. He was Oregon's leading scorer. He just kept getting to the free throw line. He hit a 3, and he made 10 free throws in the game. He was 10 of 12, which is phenomenal. Oregon is a team, 22 of 29 at the line. That's 76%. Please shoot that percentage for the rest of the year, and I will be so happy. I will be so happy because I've watched Oregon struggle with free throws for way too long. But Evans was a tone setter at the defensive end of the floor, and everybody else was right there with him. Oregon only had 2 blocks in this game, but here are the numbers for Stanford. You ready? They shot 37% from the field. They attempted just 13 free throws. They only made 7, and they were 8 of 30 from beyond the arc. They had 9 turnovers and 8 assists. Generally speaking, basketball teams are looking for an assist-to-turnover ratio that is in the 1.5 range, 1.3 to 1.5 assists to turnover. That's a negative ratio there. And 9 turnovers isn't even a lot. It's just that Oregon's defense was incredibly stifling, and offensively, it was so balanced. The way they moved the ball was as fluid as I can remember. I am amazed that this is the same Dana Altman. I mean, I'm not amazed because I know that he's a great coach and always has been and always will be. At this time last year, what I remember talking about on this show with this team was, man, they just don't move the ball. It's stagnant. They try to force it to Dante or Evans or whoever the big man on the floor is, and they just don't move. And then they wait for a late shot clock and try to create. This team is not like that at all. If you don't have someone that can match up with Nate Biddle, they will force feed him. And it's great because he is incredibly skilled and very talented. But this team is playing such a cohesive brand of basketball, and this was on display from the moment this game got going. There was a point where Stanford had a 2 or 3 point lead, and I thought they should be up by 7-10, or else this might get ugly. And it got ugly quick. 36-19 at the break, remember. For that team that starts slow, that can't get out of the gate. 36-19. This is a neutral site game. Can be tough to get up for. Oregon didn't have a problem with it. So Evans had 13 off the bench. Shellstad had 10. He didn't hit a single 3. He's still kind of struggling to shoot threes. I don't know. I struggle to worry about him. And he's 28% from beyond the arc. The guy was 35% last year. I think Shellstad will be able to figure it out. It's just a shooting slump. He'll shoot his way out of it. But you just had a bunch of guys with anywhere from 7 to 9 points. Angel, 7. Biddle, 9. Tracy, 7. Bamba, 9. Cook, 8. Supreme Cook was awesome. I love his energy off the bench. He is such an important depth piece here. And Barthélemy had 8. Raheem Moss had a nice game with 5 points. I just thought this was the most complete effort that we have seen so far. They looked and played like the number 10 team in all of college basketball. Is Stanford great? No. But this is how you play, regardless of environment, regardless of opponent, regardless of time of year. Oregon gets to carry this into the holiday break. They come out on the other side, and they've got one more game where they should roll. They'll play Weber State at home on December 29th at 2 p.m. Pacific time. I believe that game is on Big Ten Plus. They should be able to win that game very comfortably and move to 12-1. 12-1. And remember, now, granted, they could have lost you could say they should have lost the Portland game. They could have lost the Oregon State game. Oregon State's a pretty solid team, by the way. But the only loss that Oregon has is a desperation, step back, banked three that, what are you going to do? I mean, you got Biddles there contesting. He didn't foul. It's well defended, the whole 9 yards. What are you going to do? So, I'm stoked because these guys, the only player to log 30 or more minutes was Shellstead. Remember what it was at the end of last season when they made that great run to the round of 32? It was Kuznard and Dante, and nobody else could get going. I feel like anybody can get going. If Kuznard had an off day during that great run, Oregon would have lost, unquestionably. Now, you could have two guys with an off day, and Oregon's just fine. The depth of scores and the depth of defenders on this team, I'm all about it. I am all about it. I think two of my better predictions ever. Predictions, podcast hype man moments, you call it whatever you like. I said coming into this year, Oregon's defensive line is going to be the best since 2014. 100% accurate, probably better. They don't have, I mean, Derek Harmon's a first round pick. Mateo could be next year. So yeah, they kind of do. But the depth is unquestionably stronger. Defoe and Armstead were so good. But the depth is unquestionably stronger on this year's unit. And the other one I said was this Oregon men's basketball team is not going to finish sixth in the Big Ten. That is certainly not how it looks. The Big Ten's good. Big Ten's got some real teams. Real teams. Illinois is good. Purdue is good. Washington's not terrible per se. We know UCLA is good. Already saw that. Michigan State. Michigan's in the top 25. Wisconsin's good. Oregon's got to play all these teams, and they're going to lose some of them. But I think they're going to be able to win plenty of them. And finally be an at-large team and not have to win the conference tournament. Winning the conference tournament, great. Momentum, I'm here for it when the time comes. But in the meantime, I hope they keep playing this way. If they do, they will comfortably be a top 3 to 5 seed in the NCAA tournament. And historically, that's where you need to be to make a run.